What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen is pushing for Japan's support in the country's inclusion in a massive regional trade bloc. Tsai Ing-wen has met with visiting youth members of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party on Thursday. Taiwan's entry into the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the CPTPP, has been the focus of Taiwan-Japan relations in recent years. The countries do not have official diplomatic ties, but the LDP Youth Division often sends delegations to Taiwan, including sitting lawmakers. Many of the Youth Division's previous heads have gone on to serve in high positions, including current Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and his predecessor.
未来我们会持续完善法规跟市场的措施，全力争取加入 CPTPP。 在这里也要请各位议员朋友继续支持台湾的国际参与。
And earlier on Thursday, one member of the Japanese delegation tested positive for COVID, but they were prepared for that. They had already split into two groups to prevent having to quarantine everyone if one member tested positive. The group with the positive diagnosis canceled all their public appearances in Taiwan, while the other group went ahead with their schedule, including meeting President Tsai. And Taiwan will soon begin allowing rapid tests as proof of infection for some COVID cases. The new policy goes into effect on May 12th. It's only for people who are in quarantine, isolation, or under self-health management. You'll need to have an online consultation with a doctor to verify the positive rapid test. The new policy eliminates the need to visit a health center to undergo a PCR test, and authorities hope that will reduce the burden on testing facilities. Not everyone is covered by the new rule, though. People who have not come in contact with a known case but test positive in a rapid test will still need to take a PCR test to enter the government system. And Taiwan's COVID wave hit new heights on Thursday with more than 30,000 new cases and 5 deaths. But as the numbers grow, so does the frustration of many who are trying to comply with government guidelines. Local health departments are flooded with people who need to prove they have been in quarantine. And as John Van Trieste reports, a shortage of test kits is also raising concerns.
Across Taiwan, local health departments are being swamped. They're facing long lines of people not seeking COVID treatment, but needing proof for work or school that they've been in quarantine.
申请居隔单是基本上没有任何联系办法，因为电话打不通，然后你也收不到任何纸本。对，因为现在公司是没有解隔通知，他不让你进去。
Health departments are struggling to handle the volume of requests. Long lines are also forming outside pharmacies, where COVID test kits have become a hot commodity. Some unscrupulous businesses have moved in to meet demand. One Taichung company was caught after putting over 200,000 unapproved test kits on the market. There are also reports of people reselling kits for a profit, despite police warning that doing so carries a fine of up to $34,000 US. The government is set to release more of its rationed test kits on May 15th in an effort to bring an end to the profiteering and the long lines. Klein Wong and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Political leaders around the world have reacted strongly to the news that the U.S. Supreme Court may be about to reverse the law protecting abortion rights. Protests broke out in parts of the United States following a leak of the court's draft opinion in favor of overturning the landmark case Roe v. Wade. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said, quote, "The right to choose is a woman's right and a woman's right alone." Similar statement of support came from Scotland, Spain, and other parts of Europe. 24 countries in the world have total bans on abortion. Taiwan is one of 72 countries that permits abortion before a certain point in the pregnancy. But as Huang Shuying, the chair of Taiwan Women's Link, said, the laws here still impose limitations on a woman's right to choose.
It's not enacted for women's health or women's need, but we do have a law that let women be able to choose to have abortion. But when a married woman want to have abortion, you have to get the consent from your husband. And this is not right. I think it's only woman knows the best if it's good for her or not the husband. And second, women is the one who will bear the fetus. So she should have the right to decide what her body wants to be, not the husband. Thirdly, women, pregnancy and childbirth has risk. Women should have the right to refuse to those risks.
And in terms of your campaigning, is anyone listening?
In 2007, I actually revised the law, want to repeal the husband's consent. And at that time, the religious group, they organized and formed alliance. And they have a lot of resources, human resources, monetary resources, and they will lobby. They will go to the legislation and lobby those legislators. And also from the religion side, they will have their believers to call us office against us. And so at that time we were so frightened. So we revised the law. Then those religious groups are coming out. And so we don't know what's going to be changed.
Taiwan's badminton team has won bronze at the 24th Deaflympics in Brazil. One of the players, Shen Yanru, spoke after the winning match.
跟他讲说，输了也没有关系，就放开来打就好了，把它当做这一次的经验。但这一次表现得非常好，也打得很好，就蛮开心的。
Shen and her teammates beat out favorite South Korea to snatch Team Taiwan's second bronze of the Games, with India taking the gold. The first bronze for Taiwan came in karate. The Deaflympics is organized separately from the Paralympics, which has no categories for deaf competitors. But the Deaflympics is actually the older competition, first held in 1924. Taipei hosted the Deaflympics in 2009, 16 years after a Taiwanese team first competed at the 1993 event in Bulgaria's capital, Sofia. Taiwan's first domestically produced rocket failed to launch this week in the southern county of Pingdong. But for a small indigenous village which rented the land to the Ministry of Science and Technology, it was still an uplifting moment. Rick Lauer reports.
This is Shuhai, a small indigenous Taiwanese community on the island's windswept southeast coast. Most of the people here are Taiwan, a name that means they come from heaven. For a few days this month, the rural village of only 450 people had a new neighbour. A rocket, set to be the first step in Taiwan's multi-million-dollar space age ambitions. But this land belongs to the local indigenous ethnic Taiwan people. They've lived here for millennia. And this indigenous land is protected by Taiwan law. The Ministry of Science and Technology required the local community's permission before they could plan a launch. Town residents held a referendum on the issue last year, with 85 out of 112 households opting to be part of this pioneering project.
高科技这个太空这一块，我们有进驻在我们部落，当然说我们是很欢迎了哈。希望也是趁着这样的一个产业为我们部落，不管是学校学子方面也当然是提升我们的能见度了。
And for a few days, this small town was buzzing with scientists, rocket experts, and journalists, a boon to the local economy. But unseasonably strong wind and heavy rain on launch day forced engineers to take the rocket back to their centre for repair. There's no guarantee when or where the next launch will take place.
成功是骄傲的好感觉啊，就是这样嘛。你话说得好，我就是台湾学生做得很好啊，这是我们国家的经济没有什么了。
But what should have been a moment of pride for the country was scuppered by wind and rain, forcing Taiwan and the people of Shuhai to wait for another chance to reach for the heavens. Patrick Chen and Rick Glowett in Pingdong County for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of the Eid festival in Qatar. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.